Women over 50, I need you to listen to me very closely before you let anyone near your most private, intimate area again. You need to hear this because what I am about to share can completely change how you think about your body, your comfort, and your worth as a woman in this stage of life. For decades, you have been told to be quiet, to tolerate discomfort, to believe that desire and pleasure naturally fade after a certain age. That message has been so loud that many women started to believe it was true. But that silence has cost women their confidence, their connection, and their joy. It is time to unlearn those lies. My name is Dr. Lily Stones. I am a board-certified gynecologist, and for more than 30 years I have walked with women through perimenopause, menopause, and the years beyond. I have sat across from thousands of women who thought that chapter of their life was over, only to watch them slowly come back to themselves when they finally understood what was happening inside their bodies. My purpose in this video is simple. I want to bring honesty, compassion, and science back into a conversation that has been whispered about for far too long. Before we go any deeper, I would love to know something from you. In the comments, tell me where you are watching from. If you are in the United States, write your state. If you are somewhere else in the world, write your country. Our community of women over 50 is truly global, and seeing where you are from helps this message reach even more women who need it. Here is what almost no one talks about openly. Most men think they understand what makes a woman feel good, but very few truly understand what happens to a woman's body after 50. And to be honest, many women do not fully understand it either because no one ever explained it to them in a clear, respectful way. After menopause, your body begins to speak a new language. Your hormones shift. Your natural moisture changes. Your sensitivity can feel different. Your emotions and your nervous system respond in new patterns. Pretending that nothing has changed does not protect intimacy. It quietly damages it. You may have noticed this yourself. Maybe you love your partner, but your body does not respond the way it used to. Maybe you feel less comfortable, more tense, or even experience pain where there used to be warmth. Maybe you find yourself saying no more. Often not because you have stopped loving or caring, but because your body no longer feels safe or ready. And in the middle of this, many women begin to blame themselves. They tell themselves they are broken, that they are no longer attractive, that this is simply the price of aging. I am here to tell you very clearly that is not the truth. What you are feeling is biology, not failure. When estrogen drops, the tissues in and around the vagina become thinner and more delicate. Natural lubrication slows, blood flow can be reduced. Your nervous system takes longer to feel fully relaxed and receptive. None of this is your fault. These are normal, predictable changes. But when no one explains them to you, it is easy to think something is wrong with you or to assume you just have to live with pain or numbness. You do not. One of the most important things I want you to take from this video is that discomfort may be common, but it is never just the way it has to be. Your body still knows how to feel good. It still remembers how to experience warmth, closeness, and satisfaction. It simply needs a different kind of care, a gentler pace, and better support than it did when you were 25. And there is something else happening beneath the surface. When you start to feel disconnected from your body, it does not just affect your physical experiences. It affects how you see yourself as a woman. You may start to question your desirability, your confidence, your spark. You may feel guilty saying no, but afraid to say yes if it means pain or discomfort. That inner conflict can be exhausting, but that spark inside you has not disappeared. It has not expired. It is still there, waiting to be rekindled with understanding and kindness. Once you finally see that your body is not breaking but changing, everything shifts. You stop blaming yourself. You stop pretending that everything is fine when it is not. And slowly you begin to take back ownership of your comfort and your pleasure. In this video, I am going to guide you through what really changes in a woman's body after 50. What most men do not know: how to protect your comfort and health, how to talk about your needs without shame, and how to gently reawaken your own desire. Toward the end, I will also share a simple nightly routine that many of my patients say help them feel more alive, more confident, and more at home in their own skin again, without pills and without complicated treatments. But before we can talk about partners' routines or communication, we have to start with you. We need to name the silent struggle that so many women carry alone. Because when you finally understand that struggle, you will see that your body is not the enemy. It is asking for your attention. And that is where we will go next. When women reach their 50s and 60s, they often begin carrying a quiet burden that few people ever see. It shows up in subtle ways. Hesitating when a partner reaches for them, feeling tense when intimacy is suggested, wondering why their body feels unfamiliar, and perhaps the most painful part, believing that they are the only ones going through it. You are not alone. This silent struggle is one of the most common experiences I hear in my office. Yet almost no one speaks about it honestly. Society celebrates youth, but it goes silent when women age, and that silence leads many to believe that their discomfort or loss of desire is a personal failure. It is not. It is biology, and biology can be understood, supported, and softened. Let me tell you about one of my patients, a woman named Linda. She was 58 when she sat across from me, gently twisting her wedding ring on her finger. She told me she loved her husband deeply, but intimacy had become something she feared. Not because she had changed her mind about closeness, but because her body no longer felt like a safe place. She said it felt dry, tight, and unwelcoming, no matter how much she wanted the moment to feel natural. When she said those words, her voice broke. What she grieved was not the physical discomfort itself. It was the loss of the emotional closeness she once shared so effortlessly. Women often blame themselves for this shift, but the truth is that the body changes in very predictable ways. Declining estrogen makes the tissues inside the vagina thinner. The natural lubrication that once appeared easily now takes longer. The nerves that were once instantly responsive may need more time to warm up. None of this is a sign that something is wrong with you. It is a sign that your body needs a different kind of support. Here is something important. Pain is never normal. Common, yes, but not normal. If intimacy feels uncomfortable or emotionally heavy, it is not a sign that your desire is gone. It is a sign that your body is protecting itself. When the tissues are not hydrated enough or when circulation is low, the body creates tension. That tension leads to pain, and pain leads to avoiding intimacy altogether. When women go long stretches without intimacy, the tissues become even drier, which makes everything harder. It becomes a cycle that many women feel trapped inside. But that cycle can be broken. Clears throat. Now let us talk about something that many people misunderstand, especially men. They often interpret a woman's slower response as rejection. They think she does not want them anymore. They imagine that something is wrong with the relationship. The truth is very different. Women after 50 respond not to pressure, but to patience, not to speed, but to safety. The female body cannot relax unless it feels emotionally safe. That sense of safety signals to the nervous system that it is okay to unwind, to open, and to invite closeness. Without that emotional grounding, the body remains tight-guarded and unresponsive. I once worked with a woman named Carol who told me he thinks I do not care anymore. But I do. I just need more time. What she needed was not intensity. She needed gentleness, attentiveness, and a slower rhythm. When her husband finally understood that her body had simply changed its tempo, everything shifted for them. Their connection became deeper, not because they tried harder, but because they understood each other more honestly. And this is where the heart of intimate wellness truly begins. Once you understand that your body is not failing you, but communicating with you, the guilt disappears. The shame lifts. The confusion softens. Suddenly, everything makes more sense. You are not losing your femininity. You are entering a new chapter of it, a wiser, more intentional chapter. What I want you to take away from this part is simple but powerful. Your body is still capable of pleasure. It is still capable of warmth and closeness. It simply requires more support, more hydration, more circulation, and more presence than it did in earlier years. And once you understand the science behind what is happening to your fluids, your tissues, and your nervous system, you will begin to see your body not as a problem, but as a teacher. Next, we are going to explore something that surprises many women: the remarkable purpose and beauty of your natural fluids, how they change after menopause, and how understanding them can completely transform your comfort and confidence. When we begin talking about vaginal fluids, many women instinctively lower their voices, look away, or speak with embarrassment. For decades, society taught women that anything involving their intimate health should be hidden, minimized, or dismissed. But your fluids are not something to be ashamed of. They are one of the most important indicators of your body's well-being. They protect you, they hydrate you, and they communicate what your body needs long before you feel discomfort. I often tell my patients that their fluids are not just moisture. They are a living system working constantly to keep them safe and comfortable. They maintain the ideal pH to prevent infection. They keep the delicate tissues inside the vagina soft and flexible. They reduce friction during intimacy. And they act as natural signals to your nervous system, telling your body when it is safe to relax and when it needs more support. But after menopause, this remarkable system undergoes changes. As estrogen declines, the cells responsible for producing moisture become less active. The tissue becomes thinner and more sensitive. The balance of natural hydration shifts, which is why so many women notice dryness, irritation, or changes in texture. These shifts are not signs of aging poorly. They are signs that your biology is adapting to a new phase of life. One woman in her early 60s once asked me, "Is it normal that I do not feel the same as before?" And I told her, "Yes, it is normal, it is natural, and it is something we can support. The beauty of your body is that it responds quickly when given the right care. Even small lifestyle habits can make a meaningful difference. Drinking enough water improves tissue hydration. Eating fruits and foods rich in omega fats helps your cells stay flexible. Using gentle moisturizers made for intimate skin softens the tissue and reduces discomfort. Your body is not trying to fail you. It is trying to communicate with you. When you treat your intimate skin with the same level of care and respect that you treat the rest of your health, everything begins to change. You reconnect not only with comfort, but with confidence. And there is something deeper here. When your fluids change, your experience of intimacy changes too. It can affect how quickly your body warms up, how easily you relax, and how comfortable you feel. Many women think the solution is to push through discomfort or pretend nothing has changed. But pushing through is the very thing that leads to pain, frustration, and avoidance. Your body does not need pressure, it needs support. I remember another woman, a widow in her late 50s, who recently began dating again. She told me she felt embarrassed because she did not respond the way she used to. She said, "I feel like my body forgot how to open up," but her body did not forget. It simply needed time, hydration, circulation, and emotional safety. When she learned how to care for her intimate skin and how to communicate with her partner about what her body now needed, she rediscovered sensations she had assumed were gone forever. And this is where the science becomes both fascinating and empowering. Studies show that a woman's intimate response after menopause depends far more on emotional comfort and steady stimulation than on quick arousal. Your body opens when it feels supported. It softens when it feels understood. It responds when it feels connected. This leads us to something essential. Intimacy after 50 is not driven by physical sensation alone. It is driven by emotional experience. Your fluids, your tissues, and your nervous system respond to how safe, seen, and cared for you feel. When you understand this, it becomes clear why the mind matters just as much as the body. So before we move into communication or techniques, we need to talk about something that influences every part of a woman's intimate life: the emotional equation of intimacy. Why your body cannot relax without safety. Why trust changes your physiology. And how emotional closeness can completely transform physical experience. If there is one truth I wish every woman over 50 could fully embrace, it is this: intimacy does not begin with the body, it begins with the mind and the heart. And for many women, especially in midlife and beyond, emotional safety becomes the very foundation that allows the body to soften, open, and respond. When women sit with me in my office, they often make the same quiet confession: "I do not feel like myself anymore." They are not talking about libido or desire. They are talking about the part of themselves that used to come alive through touch, laughter, and connection. That spark may feel distant now, but it has not disappeared. It has simply been overshadowed by stress hormonal shifts and the pressure to pretend nothing has changed. For women, intimacy is deeply tied to emotional connection. If your mind is tense, overwhelmed, or fearful, your body cannot relax. And when the body cannot relax, pleasure becomes difficult to access. This is not imagination. This is biology. A woman's nervous system responds directly to emotional cues. When she feels emotionally safe, oxytocin increases, blood flow improves, the pelvic muscles soften, the entire body shifts from protection to openness. That is why emotional connection is not optional. It is essential. Another patient of mine, a woman named Carol, once said something that still stays with me. When he slows down, looks at me, and really listens, I can feel my whole body wake up. That sentence captures the physiology of intimacy perfectly. Women do not respond to pressure. They respond to presence. They respond to patience, tenderness, and the sense that their needs matter. This is why communication becomes the next transformational step. And yet, for so many women, speaking up feels frightening. They fear hurting their partner's feelings. They fear being misunderstood. They fear being seen as demanding or difficult. But silence does not protect closeness. It creates distance. I once worked with a woman named Diane, married for 40 years. She was terrified to tell her husband that certain moments were becoming uncomfortable. She said, "I feel selfish asking for anything different." But the truth is, expressing your needs is not selfish. It is sacred. It is an act of honesty that protects your health, your comfort, and your relationship. What men often do not realize is that after 50, a woman's body needs more time, more warmth, and more gentleness. Without communication, they cannot know what feels good, what feels uncomfortable, or what helps the body relax. But when a woman speaks from love rather than frustration, something beautiful happens. Most partners soften. They listen. They become gentle and curious instead of defensive. They want to support you, but they cannot do that unless you let them in. Simply use phrases that focus on connection rather than criticism. You can say things like, "I love being close to you, and here is something that helps me feel even more comfortable." Or, "Can we slow down a little? My body responds better that way." These small sentences build bridges instead of walls. The moment communication improves, something powerful begins to change. You no longer feel alone in your experience. You stop pretending. You stop enduring discomfort in silence. Instead, you and your partner become a team again. Not performers, not pressured participants, but partners rediscovering each other with new understanding. And as emotional safety grows, your body begins to respond in ways you may not have felt in years. Warmth returns, comfort increases, and softness replaces tension. This is the doorway to deeper intimacy, authentic connection, and a renewed sense of self. Now that we have explored the emotional foundation, it is time to bring everything together. In our final part, I will show you how to reclaim confidence, nurture your body with daily care, and rediscover pleasure in a way that feels natural, gentle, and deeply empowering at this stage of your life. As we reach the final part of this conversation, I want you to take a slow breath and recognize something deeply important. Everything you have heard so far was never about fixing you. It was never about making you younger or trying to turn back time. It was about helping you see that your body, your emotions, and your desires still hold extraordinary wisdom. Nothing inside you has expired. Nothing valuable has faded. You are simply learning a new rhythm. Women often forget to honor themselves as they move through the changes of midlife. They adjust for everyone else, but rarely for their own comfort. They push through discomfort, silence their needs, and tell themselves they should be grateful even when something feels wrong. But I want you to understand something with absolute clarity. You are allowed to want comfort. You are allowed to want closeness. You are allowed to want pleasure without guilt, pressure, or embarrassment. This chapter of life is not the closing of a door. It is the opening of a deeper, wiser one. Let me share something I teach many of my patients. When your body feels safe, cared for, and supported, desire does not disappear. It returns in a slower, steadier, more meaningful form. It becomes less about performance and more about connection, less about expectation and more about shared presence. And when you show up in intimacy this way, your partner feels it too. But before you can reconnect with your partner, you must reconnect with yourself. That begins with a simple nightly ritual that resets your nervous system, improves circulation, and softens the tissues that tend to become more delicate after menopause. I recommend choosing a quiet moment before bed. Place a warm compress on your lower belly. Feel the muscles relax. Drink a small glass of water to support hydration. Then gently massage a natural oil around the outer intimate skin. Not with pressure, not with an agenda, but with care. This practice restores moisture, improves elasticity, and reminds your body that it is still deserving of tenderness. Women who follow this ritual often tell me, "I feel more like myself again." They sleep better, they wake up more grounded, they approach intimacy with less fear and more curiosity. Because when you give your body permission to be cared for, it responds with gratitude. And here is the deeper truth. Intimacy at this age is not just physical. It is emotional renewal. It is the rediscovery of softness, confidence, and trust. It is a chance to rewrite the story you once believed about aging. You are not becoming less. You are becoming more aware, more attuned, more connected to what truly matters. I want you to look at yourself with the same compassion you would offer a dear friend. You deserve to feel desirable. You deserve to feel confident. You deserve to experience closeness that honors who you are today, not who you were decades ago. There is nothing diminished about you. There is only transformation. And the beautiful part is this. When a woman embraces this transformation, her entire presence changes. She walks with more ease. She carries more softness. She radiates a quiet confidence no wrinkle can hide. That is the beauty of growing into yourself rather than shrinking away from age. So tonight, I hope you remember this. Your story is not over. Your body is still yours. Your pleasure still belongs to you. And your capacity for joy, comfort, and closeness is as real today as it ever was. Thank you for spending this time with me. If this message resonated with you, I would love for you to subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments. Tell me one insight you are taking with you. Your experiences help other women feel less alone. And before we close, let me remind you, this video is for educational purposes only. It does not replace medical advice. Every woman's body is unique. If you are experiencing pain, significant changes, or have personal concerns, please consult with your healthcare provider. Your well-being deserves personalized